Hi everyone, it's Marisa from bumblebeeapothecary.com, and today I'm going to do another What We Eat in a Day video. So I'm going to take you along as I make all of our meals for today. First off, for breakfast, we're starting out with some fresh fruit, and then I have for myself some oatmeal. I make a double batch every other day and then just save half of it and reheat it. So I'm having that. It's my soaked oatmeal that I make. I've shown it in another video where I let the oats sit with some kefir and water on the counter overnight and then cook them in the morning. And then I'm having that with some raw milk and a little bit of raw rapadura or sucanat. And then the kids are having scrambled eggs. They had some fresh fruit also, but they're having scrambled eggs, bacon, and some sauerkraut on the side. And then I'm also heating up some meat stock for my son. He's having that with each meal right now. You might have noticed the sauerkraut that we had with breakfast, and this is one of my little hacks that I'll use every once in a long while. Most of the time, by far, I always like to make my own sauerkraut and other fermented vegetables, but if we're in a time crunch or it's a really busy time like we just got back from being out of town for a little bit, then sometimes I'll get this raw organic sauerkraut from Costco in these packages or containers and then let it sit on the counter for at least a few days, up to a few weeks, and let it ferment and culture more and then use that. And that just gives us a really quick option for some sauerkraut in case we ran out of our batches. And the cabbages in the garden are not quite ready for me to make into my big huge batches in the crock that I like to do in my 5-gallon crock. So this is like a little stopgap just to get us by until we get some more made. So I wanted to share that little tip. For lunch, by far, most of the time we just do leftovers because it's so much easier and it just makes things so that you're using up stuff and things are not going to waste. So most of the time that's what we do. So today we have some leftover cooked chicken from chicken that I made meat stock with yesterday. So there's a bunch of chicken meat in there and some cooked carrots. Here's another smaller container of that. That's somebody's leftovers from yesterday. And then I have some fried potatoes, and then there's also some cooked ground beef, and then we have some pickles, some dill pickles, and some carrots. So that's what we're having for lunch. And then my son will also have his cup of meat stock. Depending on the time of the year, we'll heat up leftovers in our toaster oven or in a pan on the stove. Usually on these really hot summer days, we'll just eat everything as is without heating it up. And the kids usually like their things without being heated up anyway, no matter what time of year, since they're pretty young and don't really like hot food. Except for the meat stock, I do warm that up for him. And then the table, you'll probably notice, is full of stuff because it's actually a filming day today, so I moved stuff around to be able to film some videos for you guys. Here's just an example of one of the things that we put together from different leftovers. These are the fried potatoes, some of the cooked chicken, and then I put some of my homemade ranch dressing over it. So that's some of what I'm having. I'll probably have some of the pickles also on the side. I have videos on how to make my homemade salad dressing recipes, and I'll have that linked below in case you want to check that out. Sometimes on really warm days, like today is a pretty hot summer day, we'll also have the meat stock other ways. So when you put really good meat stock in the refrigerator, it gels up, so it's like jello, and so he's having it like jello. Mid-afternoon is when I'll usually need to go grab something a little extra just to get me through in that space of time when I need to finish getting dinner ready before it's actually time to eat dinner. And my go-to is usually some fruit and or some of my fermented and dehydrated nuts. So I'll grab either one or both of those and just eat those and then get on with the dinner prep. I'm getting started on dinner prep early in the day today. I'm doing some beef shanks in the crock pot. I find myself using the crock pot more than the oven on these really hot summer days. It keeps the house cooler, but it does mean starting things a bit earlier since the crock pot does take longer to heat up and the overall cook time ends up being longer than the oven. So I'm going to do these beef shanks. I'm just going to get them into the crock pot with my filtered water, my mineral salt, pepper, and some bay leaves, and then I will add some more ingredients a little later on, closer to when we're going to be ready to eat. Anytime you can make a meal that includes the meat and the meat stock all in one step, I always love that because it's so nice and easy. Beef shanks are one of my favorite cuts of beef for using to make beef meat stock, and they're really nice and tender after a long cook at low temperatures, and they're one of our favorite things. They're really tasty. So I have the crock pot turned to high. I'll probably turn it down to low once it gets going, but I want to make sure that it comes up to temperature right away. Now I'm just going to finish up the dinner prep. I'm just going to add some vegetables to the beef shanks, and I usually keep it really simple when it comes to vegetables. I usually only add 1 or 2. That way we can have more variety more easily by changing things up. So I'm just going to add carrots. Some other favorite things that are nice to add to this are leeks or peas. You could even do green beans or zucchini, but I'm just gonna do carrots right now. So I'm gonna cut those up and add them, and then they will cook while it finishes up its cooking time. I hope that you enjoyed coming along to see what we eat in a day following the GAPS diet. Be sure and check out that description box for links to free ebooks and other goodies. I have a GAPS diet getting started guide. I also have a free class on how to start the GAPS diet with more confidence and less confusion, and you'll find links to all that down below. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody else who you think would like it, and if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. We get out 2 new videos every week on nourishing recipes and natural living. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.